Hello and good evening, and welcome to this evening's webinar all about digital breakout activities. I'm just going to post a link in the chat for you, and this link that I've just posted is for questions and answers. So if any questions don't get answered in today's webinar, please feel free to drop them into this document that I've just added here. And also in the document, what you'll find if you open it are some links to things that I'm going to refer to today, but I'm not necessarily going to show you how to use. So it's just a refer back area for you. So hopefully you can jump into that when you want to, and we'll make a start on the session. Okay, so I'm Wendy Pesquet, and I'm a Google certified innovator and trainer, and I currently work in at Apps Events. So that's a Google partner that brings training to your organization. So we're being tasked with doing some training for today, and the one we're doing is on digital breakout activities. So I'm really excited to do that for you, because what it's going to show you are a few different things. We're going to look at the process of creating this. So we're going to look at puzzles, and I'm not really going to talk too much about how to write puzzles or create good themes. That will come with practice and a bit more research. But what we are going to do is look at how we could build a slide deck to make a really nice clickable hyperlink document so that it can become a playground for your students. Then we're going to have a look at forms. And in forms, you're going to learn how to set that up so that you can lock things down so that students can't move on to the next question until they've got it right. And then at the end, we'll put what we've made in the slide deck and the form into sites. So please feel free to ask questions all the way through this. I won't necessarily answer straight away. I'm going to stop at different points. I'll have a look at the chat and see if there's anything I can answer. If there's something I can't, or I just don't get round to it, as I said, pop it in that sheet and I'll get round to that at the end of the session. Okay, so before we really look too much further on there, what I want to show you for the moment is what we're going to create. So first of all, we are going to create something like this, which is a slide deck with a background on it. Yours might look prettier than this. It might look more bright or anything, but I've just tried to not make it as perfect, but I want to just show you something quick for now, and the design and everything can come later. Okay, so this is what we're going to create. And then once we've created this clickable area, what we're going to do is to create a form, and the form will be something like this, which has puzzles and things on it. And then once we've finished that, we'll go into Google Sites, we'll create that and put it all together in one place. So that's the task for the hour. Okay. So coming back to our slide deck, first of all, this is a finished example, and I'm going to go through and show you how to do something like this. It won't be exactly the same. But basically what you need to know is that this URL up here is the same as this URL that I've made nice and big here. And I want you to look at these words, this word here, which says edit. And I just want you first of all to know that wherever you see the word edit, you can change that to preview. And if you then copy that and paste it into a new browser, new window there, what it should do is become, if I just scroll it up to the slide before, this now becomes a clickable document. So this is what we're aiming to do. So the background isn't clickable, but if you go on to the gingerbread man and click on that, you'll see it takes you off to a video. If I click on the wolf, it takes me off to a website. If I click on one of the little pigs, the two little twins here, that will take me off to a little puzzle where students can put puzzles together. And all sorts. I think I put one on the bear as well. Okay, and that takes you onto a Jamboard where it's forced to make a copy. So I'm hoping to show you how to do all those sorts of links if that's something you've not done before. Okay, so let's have a look at how we did that. So I'm just going to close this one down and come back here, and I'm going to work in a blank slide here. I'm going to stay in the same slide deck. So the idea is the first thing we want to do is find a background. And you can simply do that by going to slide, change background, and then you can say choose image. And once you go to choose image, you can actually search, and you can search via a Google image search, and any image is okay. I'm just going to choose this one. Excuse me. And I've popped a slightly different image on there, but that's okay. We've now got our background and we've applied it to the background so that it's not movable, okay? So now we want to build up some of our bits on here. And I'm only going to show you a few because once I've shown you one, you don't need me to show you all of it. I just want to show you how we go about doing that. So I'm going to go into Insert, Image, and then search the web. So this time I'm not doing a background, but I'm just going to go and search for some images. And what you've seen already here, I haven't spelt it right there, but it says transparent house witch. So I've just put, I'm looking for a witch's house. And this is the image I found earlier, which I quite liked. And if I click on that, it will pop it on when I click insert. It'll be quite big, so I can move it around a little bit. You see I move it up and down a little tiny bit, or I can make it a bit smaller and put it in the background. But I'm quite happy with that there. Okay, so the first thing I really want to do, I want to make something where the students can click and go off to where the puzzles are, in case I just want to use this as my launch pad. So an easy way of doing that is to insert a shape, and you can do it from here and go to shapes. I'll just make this a little bit bigger on here for you. There we go. And I can go to the shape here and I can just insert a shape, and I'm going to try and make a shape of the door. So I want something that's rectangular, and I'm going to just roughly draw that over the door. It doesn't matter that it's not perfect, but I've just covered the area of the door. So I hope you can see that. Okay. And then what I want to be able to do is link that back to my finished form. So my finished form is up here, and I'll come back and show you how to make the form later. But let's just show you how I would put the slide deck together first of all. So here's my finished form. If I go to send, I can actually pick up the link. It doesn't matter if I use the long link or if I shorten it. It really doesn't matter. I just need to copy that link. Okay. And then when I'm clicked on this still, while it's still looking quite ugly, I want to go up to the insert link and just paste the link in that I just copied and apply it. So now whenever I roll my cursor over that, that becomes a clickable link. But because I don't want it to look like that, I want to be able to see the actual house and the door. All I need to do now is go up to the fill, which is the little paintbrush at the top, sorry, little paint pot, and make that transparent. And I also need to make the line next to it, which is the border color, transparent. So now if I click off that, you can't actually see that there's anything there. But when I go into preview, that will be a clickable link that will take me to my finished form. And then really, I just go ahead and make the rest of the things like that. So I might want to, for instance, insert another image, search the web, and this time I might just want a piggy. Piggy seems to give me stranger ones than pig. Pig comes up more. If I go into transparent, that's a good one to do, because obviously I want these transparent. And there you go. You'll find that I'm seeing some here. And here's a little pig that I used earlier. If I click on that again and click on insert, I can reduce down any images that I want to. Okay, so nice and easy to do. You can make the pictures as big or small as you want. You can move them around so that they're in different parts of the picture. But the idea is you want to make these clickable. So what do I want this one to click to? This one, I want it to go to a particular page. So let's have a look and see which page I actually took that to on here. Here's the little pig on my original one. If I copy that link, because obviously I haven't got that anywhere else at the moment, I can actually click on the pig itself again in exactly the same way as I did the other one. I'm just going to insert the link and paste that in and apply. So if you want the little pig to be hiding behind a tree, you could actually just put a tree and put that on top of it. So let's just try you something like that as well. So insert image, search the web. This time I might try and find a transparent tree. Where we go, it's an autumn one, so if I choose this one, what you can see I can do now is if I wanted the pig to be hiding a little bit, I could put him behind the tree so you can just see a little bit of him. Okay, so he's a bit more hidden and I can hide him as much as I want there. So you can build up the pictures just like that. Okay, so that's how you make the links. They are very, very simple to do. You just got to insert something and then go to the link. And then once you insert the link, you paste any link that you want to. Okay, so building up that is really, really straightforward. The other thing that's really nice about slides is you can actually embed videos into it. And one of the videos that's really useful to put in if you're doing an activity like this could be a timer. So let's have a look at a video that's a timer, and there are lots of them out there. So if I go this time to insert video, what you'll see here is that I can do a 30 minute, I don't want 30 seconds, 30-minute timer. And that will take me to a few videos. And I haven't looked at all of these videos, but I'm hoping that first one is okay. It's not going to be used with anyone, but I still would actually test it and look at it and make me go through the video before you use it with a student, just in case there's anything that you don't want students to see on there. But as we're not going to use this one, it's just a test, I'm happy to put that one on. And again, with the videos, I can actually resize them. So what I can do with that is put the timer in the corner somewhere or up here somewhere, and that will then just play through when we play the video. So let's have a little look at what I've done so far with that one. Remember, what we want to be able to do is to go and get the URL, which is what I've pasted here. This said edit before. Remember, it said that, and that means I can edit it, but we changed that to preview. So I'm just going to test that out now and see what that looks like. Paste it into a new window. It will go onto the window that I've got open. So on my real one, I would only have this one thing. But here we go. We've now got the timer, so I can press start on my timer. It will start counting down, and I've now can go and click around. So I should find that I've got a clickable link on the door. And that takes me into my fairy tale puzzles. It looks like I probably didn't press apply when I did the little piggy, but I know what I've done, because I've put it behind the tree. I can't get to it. So I'd have to make the tree itself also clickable. So that's a little thing to remember. Okay. Now, there's one thing I will mention here when I'm talking about putting images in as well, is remember, if you put images in, quite often when I look for images, I actually use the explore button down here, and you'll notice I didn't take you to the explore button to search for the images, and that's not because I don't like it. I love using explore. I think it's a brilliant feature. But what you've got to remember about explore when you add images to a slide deck is it also adds a link to the web page where it's come from. And because we want to add our own links, that can add a little bit of extra problem if you forget to take it off. So for instance, the first time I added a background using Explore, I forgot to take the link off that took me to the page. And when I clicked on anything on my page, it went straight to the page with the picture on. And it took me a little while to work out, I used Explore. That's what's causing that. So I'm just going to pause just for a second. I can see there's no questions come in yet from the chat, but I'm just wondering, would anyone want to ask any questions about how I've made those links first of all? Because then I'm going to show you some of the other things that we can do with this. So I'll just give you a couple of seconds to see if anyone's got any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to go on to the next part of this. Okay, so that's the slides part of it, and they are really nice, and you can do them for any level. I've chose a very simple fairy tale one, but you can do this for any level of student with different parts of pictures on it and different clickable areas and different puzzles. But I just want to show you what I've got in the background before I do any more there. I wanted to show you the actual resource folder of things that I've got created in here. So to create my clickable puzzle, I had to pull some stuff together. So for instance, I made a Goldilocks jam board. And again, this isn't very visual. I've just put this together quickly to show you an example, but I've got a sequencing activity of parts of one of the stories. So that's something I could do with little ones. I've got some fairy tale clues, which is the actual slide deck itself. I've got a cryptogram puzzle which I made on a puzzle maker, and that's in one of the links that I've given you in that document. And you can actually link to a PDF or any type of document. And I just closed my tab down there. Did you see that? And then I've got something that I created in Adobe Spark myself as a little puzzle. So the actual puzzles themselves can come from lots of different areas. And now I'm getting a server area. There we go. So this is a puzzle I made myself in Adobe Spark. So the puzzles you can create in lots of different places. So that's why I'm not really focusing on those for now, because they can come from so many different sources. But I want to show you how to put them together once you've collated all your puzzles there. Okay, so this is the next stage that we want to be able to do. We want to be able to create the form that makes the lockable areas. Okay, so you'll see I've started it off here. So I'm just going to move this out the way. I'm going to use that as my template for now so that I can copy again what I've already done earlier. And I'm going to put that together, probably not all of it, but I'll put together a section of that form just to show you how I would do that. So the first thing I would do, I would go to my apps launcher and I would create a new form. So I don't have to make this a quiz. It can just be a blank for now. I'm not going to make it self-marking. I don't need to do that because what I'm doing to it sort of overwrites that. But what I do need to be very clear about is giving it a title. So I might just call this one Puzzles Test. And then if I click on the untitled part of the form here, that also gives it the same name. So this is what the students see on the form when they open it. This is what it's called in the drive, just in case you're not clear about that. And then in the form description, what I want to do is I'm just going to grab something here. If you see me looking away, I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm just grabbing something off a different screen. I would put a description which is about the puzzle that my students are doing. Okay, so you don't have to be doesn't have to be realistic. You can just make up a little story. So I'm saying that Goldilocks has been trapped in the house by the bears. They've gone to fetch the witch to help them. What you're going to do, you've got 30 minutes to help her escape. It tells them there's 5 clues, click around, find them, and come back and complete the puzzles, and you'll get a certificate. So that's the little story that I've built up, and that's what we're going to do. And then I want to add an image, first of all, just because this is the first page. So to add an image, very simply click on Add Image. It'll ask me to go and look for that. So I'm just going to do a Google search again, and I might just type in 3 bears. I didn't think there was that many because I'm looking for the copyright things. And I might just choose this one. I think that one looks okay. I haven't looked at this one before, but that's a different picture to the one I used earlier, but hopefully that one will be okay. There we go. That's good enough. 3 bears. Okay. So I've got my picture. What I want to do now is add a section, because I want the section to be where my students start doing the puzzles. But before I add the section, I want to give them a question for their name. So I'm just going to put name in. Notice it'll automatically change the short answer. If it doesn't, make sure you change it. And the other important thing is to make it a required question. You don't want the students to be able to carry on until they've added that in. So now I've got that first piece in place, I can now add another section. So that's the little sort of equal sign here, which looks like an equal sign. It's just showing me 2 sections. And I get another part. Now, what that looks like, if I go to the preview up here, is that first of all, the students will see the description, they'll see the image, and they'll see that they've got to put their name in. Once they've put their name in, they'll be able to click next and it goes to the other section. So I'll just keep showing you that preview as we go along so that you can see how that builds up. So this second one, the section I'm going to call Puzzle 1. Okay, so Puzzle 1 is going to be what I call it. And the clue is going to be the character might be able to blow the house down. So if you think back to the picture I had, there was a picture of the wolf on it. It's encouraging the students to go on, if they haven't already found it, to click on the wolf to get the clue. Okay, so remember, this is a section. This is me telling it to move on to a new page. What I need to do now is to add a question. So I'm going to add a question in section 2. And my question is going to be something like, well, not so much even a question, it's going to tell them to do something. Try a Google search to find out how many breaths per minute a wolf takes. So really it's just an instruction rather than a question, but that's okay as well. And then I want to make sure that I change this to short answer question, so the students get somewhere to type. Okay, so what I want to do next is make that a required question again. I can do that, but it'll automatically do that when I add the next bit anyway. But this is the bit that makes the locks where students can't move on until they get the right question. Okay, so I've put my question on instruction, I've put the question type, I've made it required. I'm going to click on the traffic lights here, the 3 vertical dots. And it's something a lot of people don't often click on. So once I've clicked on that, we're going to click on response validation. Yeah, sounds a bit weird, but response validation, okay? So really it's saying, I want to know what you're going to put in that. Tell me what you're expecting to see. So I'm going to come off of number. Notice there's a few different options here, but I'm just going to put regular expression. And I want it to be contains, doesn't contain, matches, or doesn't match. So I want it to match. So basically I'm telling them that I want an exact thing put in here. So my exact answer to that, how many breaths does a wolf take in a minute, is actually between 11 and 44. So it's a very particular number. And if you do a Google search after this session, you'll find that comes straight up as the top result. So although it looks complicated, it's not as difficult to find as you might think. Okay, regular expression matches 11 to 44. And the custom error text really tells, it's a little clue to your student to say, you might be getting this wrong because, okay, it's the error message that comes up. So I might put something like no spaces between the numbers and hyphen. Okay, so that's given them a little clue. If they're typing 11 space hyphen space 44, that might be the thing that comes up. Okay, so we've made the first question. So let's go and have a look at what that looks like now. Going up to the preview at the top, we've got the first thing again, which we looked at, which is the introduction, and I have to put my name in because I can't move on otherwise. And this is when I see puzzle 1. So it says my clue is that the character might be able to blow the house down. Try Google search to find out how many breaths the wolf takes per minute. And I might put 11 space 44 as my answer, thinking, oh, I found that on the internet. And once I press enter, what you should see is that it's not actually letting me do anything there. Okay, so if I come back and do 11 to 44, I should be able to then go on to the next question. But at the moment, I haven't got my next question in. So you'll see that happen more in a moment. But I just want to show you how we build it up each time. Okay, so let's come out of that one and go back in and add puzzle 2. So puzzle 2, we are linking actually out to a little puzzle maker that we looked at. So remember how we built puzzle 1, we have to put a new section in first of all. So making sure you're clicked on the question, because every time you add something, it adds it directly underneath where you're clicked. So I need to be clicked on the question so that it actually adds the section underneath. So if I add a new section, and then choose to call that one puzzle 2. What you'll see then is I gave a little clue, which was called, there were 3 of them in the story, but today they brought some friends. Can you find the twins? Click on one of them. And I would have put a link on 2 of the little twins. So if you come back to my clue here, that's referring to the 2 little piggies here. There's one there and there's one there that look identical. Okay, so just so you see where I'm taking that to. And then if I add another question, remember the section takes it onto a new page, but that's the add in the question. The question was how many sausages are in the photo on the jigsaw? So let's have a look at what that looks like. Okay, so how many sausages are in the photo on the jigsaw? And again, we just want that to be a short answer again. And we want to make it a required question, and we want to validate that as well. So response validation again. And again, we want to make that a regular expression. and we want it to exactly match, and the pattern we want is number 7. So there are 7 sausages, and I'll show you that in a second where that's coming from. And the custom error here might be type a number, because they might try to write the number 7. Okay, so that's where we're trying to go with that one. Okay, so let's have a preview again and see what that looks like. And see, so we can put something in here again, put the name, go on to next. This time, this should make a difference with my response validation. So I shouldn't, if I put a random space in it and say next, it says no spaces between the numbers and hyphens. Okay, so now you can see that response validation starting to work. So if I go, okay, well, I think I got the answer right, but I've put a space in. When I click next now, I'll only be able to move on as a student once I've put the right answer. Okay, and for the last question, you'll need to put something at the end before the submit button. I'll show you that as well. Okay, so this question is going back to our fairy tale thing here. So if I show you what that looks like, and remember, this is the URL for that, so I'll just open it up again. Okay, so one of the little piggies, it said there's only 3 in the story, so that's telling me it's the pigs. I've put an extra one in there. 2 of them are identical, they're twins. When the students click on those, it will take them to this little jigsaw puzzle creator, and I've put a link to that in the questions form for you. But basically all the students need to do is to actually put the jigsaw puzzle together. So that's a nice little activity for students to do. It's given me a time response down the bottom there to see how quick I can do it, if you can see that. Once they've done the puzzle, what we're being asked to do is to look how many sausages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can see that's where I've got my answer from. So you can start to see how you can build up some nice little activities within this form, but you've got to have the activities there before you put your form together. So you've got to know what it is you want to take them to. I'm just going to stop for a second and look on, see if there's any, what does the description section allow for instead of response validation? What does the description section allow for instead of response? Description is just this bit here, so you can add extra information there, Andrew. Okay, so how many sausages are in the photo on the jigsaw? And I could actually say in my description, type a number. So I could be a bit more descriptive about what I'm looking for. So that's what the description's for there. Okay, so because sometimes people might want to type the word 7, and that's not what I'm looking for. So the description gives you extra descriptors about the question that you might want to do. You could also put a link in there. So for instance, I'm going to show you how to do these puzzles as well without having the slide deck. So I think the slide decks are lovely, but sometimes people think, okay, I haven't got time, or I don't feel, that I want to make a slide deck. I just want a puzzle like this that locks each question. You can build these up in that way as well. So if I was doing it that way, if I just bring back that little puzzle, I could actually copy the address off of this puzzle, and in the description I could actually put type a number, or I could put do the puzzle, do the puzzle to find the answer. And I can actually do it this way. Okay, so if I go and have a look at what that looks like in the preview, always have to type something in because I've made this a required question. 11 to 44. Again, I've got to put the right answers in. What you'll see now is I can actually put the link directly into the Google form itself. So this puzzle with the locks on it can actually be self-contained. It doesn't have to go with the slide deck, although I'm showing you both, because some people will like to make the slide decks, and some people will say, actually, I like the locking puzzles, but I'm happy to do it just within the form itself. So I'm just trying to show you a few different ways that you might do that. Okay. I'll check every so often on the actual comments, okay, because I've got it covered up on my screen here to look at something else, but please ask away, okay. Yeah, so basically that's the two different ways that you can add links. Don't forget, in here, your matches could be lots of different things. It might be that you want a number and a word, which is why I like the regular expression. Because if I choose number, it has to be a number. If it's text, it has to be a text. If it's length, that's how many words people are going to write. But with regular expression, my answer, for instance, could be 7 sausages, and I might want them to write that, or I might want them to write a whole sentence, or you know, it might be a particular words and number mix. Okay, it might be a set of numbers. Okay, a 2-digit number, a 4-digit number. You know, so think about exactly what it is you want your students to create there. So I'm going to miss puzzle 3 out because that is, oh no, I'm not going to do that one. So again, let's have a look at puzzle 3. So I'll do that the same. So first of all, add the section. This is puzzle 3. I'll do this one very quickly. And I've put a little comment that says, as a description, he might not be able to help as he runs away. So you'll notice there was a gingerbread man on there. So that's referring to that person. I'm going to add the question, and the question was, the wife says, "Come back, you are too." Okay, and the word we're looking for is quick. Now, in the puzzle here, what the gingerbread person one is going to, this one is taking them off to watch a YouTube video, and it takes them off to listen to the little story, and then they can come back and put the word quick in here. So it's building up all those little puzzles. So it doesn't have to be something they work out. It could be just a really short video that the students can watch and get the answer to the quiz. So again, we'll make it 3 dots, response validation, and this time we're going to have it say, oops, I couldn't see it, regular expression, and it's going to just be the word quick. Okay, and I might put in here use lowercase. Okay, so that might be the way I build this one up. I'm making it a required question so that students can't just go on. So that's the way that you would build the quizzes up with the actual slide deck itself. So these two things go together really nicely. You can match the puzzles to that. But if you haven't got time, or you're not really inclined to make the actual slide decks, although I think they're lovely, let's show you what you could do without the slide deck. You can do other things that you might decide to do it a different way. But again, I'm going to add a section, and the section is going to be just puzzle 4. And then I'm going to put a little description in, which says rearrange the words, or rearrange the letters, actually. And then I'm going to add an image in this time. And my image this time is going to be Google Drive. And I'm just going to put in bears, because I think that's what I called it, bears. There we go. And this is the image I made earlier. And this is, as I said earlier, this is a little image that I just made in Adobe Spark. So I just went in, added some squares, added some text, put the letters in that I wanted. I hope I've got the right letters in there. Now I'm looking. And basically what I'm saying to the students is rearrange the letters. And then when you've got the letters in the right place, so like the top one is bold, the solid letter, the solid square will have the letter B in it. So that every solid one then goes in order at the bottom here, and it makes up the word bears. Okay, so my answer to this question is bears. So what I'm asking now, once I've put my picture in, is I need to add a question. So now I've put my section in, I've put my picture in. Now I'm clicking on the picture and I need to add a question. And my question will be, what is the word you made from puzzle, and it was puzzle 4, wasn't it? I couldn't remember the number when I pasted it in earlier. There we go. And it's a short answer one. And we need to make it required, data validation, regular expression, and it's the word bears. And again, it's exactly as you see it there. So if they type it with a capital letter, then it's wrong. Okay, if you want it all in capitals, so because actually the letters at the top are in capitals, and you might actually say that capital letters, or uppercase. Yeah, so something like that. You put it so that's your answer. Okay, and the last question I'm going to show you there is just going back to the cryptogram that I've made earlier. So again, this is doing it without the slide deck. So again, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, add a section, puzzle 5. Okay, and I might say try this puzzle. And what I've done on this one is I've made a link to my puzzle. So let's add a question, and I'll show you how I got that link in case you've never seen that before. Actually, that's the wrong place. That's where I want that one. That's the puzzle description. And then it will be, what is the sentence you made from the cryptogram? So that would be the question. Okay, so let me show you where I've got this link from. Okay, so in my drive, what I've got is a cryptogram, which is a PDF. And if you've never seen that before, just in case you've not noticed that before, everything that's in your Google Drive has a URL. It has a web address that you can link to something else. And that's something that just means that you can make so many different things from it. So if I right click on this, you'll see that I've got get the link. And what's really important here is that I've changed this so it says anyone with the link, because you can change it to restricted, and that means just you or the people you've invited. If it's anyone in Chrome School, that means anyone in my domain, because that's the domain I'm on. But if I want it with anybody that clicks on this can see it, I can do that. Okay, so anybody on the internet with this link can actually be a viewer of this. And I just need to make sure I copy that link, and that's where I got the link to put in my puzzle here. Okay, that's just the puzzle link here. So I need to make that come out and put my response validation in. And the actual sentence that the students would have found would have been, I hope you enjoyed the puzzle. So let's just change that to the right thing. Oops. Matches. And then we've got, I hope you enjoyed the puzzles. And if I wanted to, I could say try again, or some custom text there. But again, making it a required question so they have to get it right. Okay, so we've now put our thing together, but because what you saw earlier, the last one doesn't mark itself, won't restrict if it's got a submit button on it. So you saw that earlier when I tried to do it on the first question. So to tidy up your puzzle, you need to just finish it off. And I usually do that by adding a last section. And the last section, we know the students have all got it right because they can't get to this unless they've got them right. It's not like they're doing the quiz and they find out at the end if they've got it right. They can only move to the next question if they've got it right. So really what I want to put on there is some form of congratulations. So I might put something like congratulations. And then I might tell them what they've achieved. So in the description, I've put something like, well done, you unlocked all the puzzles, check your email for your certificate. Now, I'm not going to go through that today, but if you've got add-ons on any of your things, if you've got certify them, that will allow you to then push a certificate out to students. I won't have time to cover that in this session, but make a note of certify them. I'll add that actually to the question and answer document so you remember that as well. And when the students are finished, because they'll have had 100%, and you can set your thing to just send out an email to them. So that's something nice you can do as well. Okay, and then I might just want to put an image on just to finish it off. So if I go into add image, I can just have a look. Let's go back. Have a Google image search for congratulations, see what comes up, and I could just do just a little congratulations picture at the end. Okay, so that's how it will finish up. So you've now got all your puzzles in. The first ones started off showing you just the beginning, the introduction. You then had your first puzzle, which related to the slide deck, your second puzzle, which related to the slide deck, third puzzle for the slide deck. Then you went on to just the puzzles that were just within the form itself, and we created that in Adobe Spark. And this one, which is taking you to a document that's in my Google Drive, which is something that I made a cryptogram of earlier. I'm hoping that's given you some ideas. I'm just going to finish off by showing you how to put those together now in a Google site. But I just want to show you, just have a look really to check that there's no questions for the moment. Okay, no questions come in for the moment. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Please put anything in there that's coming to mind, or if you've seen anything that you think you might try out, that would be brilliant. But I just wanted to bring this question and suggestions area over to show you some of the other things you can do. So this is the document I gave you the link to earlier in the chat. And I just wanted to show you a couple of things on there, okay? So first of all, if you want to get in touch after the session, you can find me here. But there's a couple of things there. So we've got Jigsaw Planet. You saw me link out to the little 3 pigs jigsaw that was on there. That was a 6-piece jigsaw, but there's some really more difficult ones on there. So you can use it for all sorts of things. There's something called iFake text message. So you can create text messages for your students and be really creative and have different people talking, like characters talking to each other, and run wild with your imagination. And you can then use those in the questions. Puzzle Maker is great. That's got loads of stuff on there. You can create word searches, mass puzzles, cryptograms, and number blocks, and all sorts of things. I don't know what that says. That says makes. Just take that out. I'm not sure why that says there. Then you've got things that's called Secret Message Maker, and that's easier than the cryptograms for younger learners. So I prefer that one if I'm using that with younger learners, because it's more image based and it makes puzzles around those. And the students, you can put a word in or a sentence in, the students have to work it out. There's more difficult ones for older students around Morse code and secret message generators as well, and they're picture makers. So there's loads and loads of things, and there's far more than this. Once you start finding puzzle makers, you can make your own list and add to that. But there are a few that will get you started. And as I say, you think of your theme to make your quiz and to make your escape room type thing, and then you work out what it is you're going to do as the particular puzzles, and then you put it together. So I've taken this session from the bit where I'm putting it together. Okay, so that's something for you to look at later. And then we'll just see how we now put this together for our students to use this in a really easy way. So just recapping there, we've made the actual slide deck, we've made the form, and now we want to put it together like this into a Google site. So that's the next part I'm going to do, okay? So what I'm going to do from there, to create my Google site, I'm going into New, and then you'll notice I can create different documents from here. If I go to more, you should see that I can create a new Google site from here. So I'm just going to create and share, because that's just reminding me that I've already got that folder shared with some other people. So it's sort of saying, do you want to put it in there because it's shared with people? Okay. And I'm going to make this little 1-page website, and I could make it lots of pages, but I only need 1 page for this really, just to put it all together. So the first thing to sort of notice when you get into your Google site is that you need to give it a name, like anything. So this is going to be Fairy Tale Puzzles. Okay, Fairy Tale Puzzles, and this is going to be Puzzle 1. So imagine that I'm going to do a whole series of these puzzles. This is the first one that I'm going to do. All right, so I've put this together. This is my page. So all I did was click and type at the moment. What I can do as well is notice at the top is the header, and that's the top of my page, and the bottom is where I put my stuff together. This is the page where I design, okay, where I put all my designs together. I can actually change the image on the header type. So if I find an image that I like, I can have a look and select image. If I can find anything, again, I can go to my Google Drive, or I can just find something that might go sort of with it from here. Not really many on the choices, but say, for instance, I can put the clouds on it and make it a little bit more, I think that's clouds, or it might be water actually. But I can change the image again. Let's have a look, select image again. This time I could actually do a search. And I might just put Woods Fairy Tale. See if anything comes up. That's good. So I can put this one in. So I can put that as my background. So that's a nice background that might interest my students a little bit more than the one that was up there. Okay, and then notice at the bottom here is where I can put stuff. So first of all, I can just double click and that gives me a wheel. And when I click on the wheel, I can add text. So the first thing I want to do is to put some text. So really, if I'm going to use this as the place where my students are getting their information from, I want to make sure I introduce the puzzle. And that's really important. So set your scene. Okay, so again, this is what you saw on my slide deck. Goldilocks has been trapped in the house by the bears. You've got 30 minutes to help her escape. There are 5 clues in the picture. You get the idea, okay? Telling them, why do you want to do this puzzle? What is it that you're doing and why do you want to do it? Well, you're doing it because you're going to get a certificate at the end, okay? So set the scene. Okay, I've seen some teachers use these and the students get a book at the end of it when they finished it, or they get a link to an audio book that they can listen to. So there's all sorts of little things that you can do to really get your students interested in doing this. Okay. Then the next thing I want to do, because I'm staying on the same page, is I can double click again. Again, that wheel comes up and I can actually put something in from my drive. Okay, so I can look for something in my drive. And remember, I already made the puzzle earlier. So it's taken a little while. It's whirring away here. But what you should see that is that I've got fairy tale. So if I do a search, you should see I've got my things here, and that's my clues. That's my slide deck. I can see it's a slide deck because of the icon here. And I can just double click. This is my original one, okay? So I'm going back to my original one. I'm going to double click on it, and it will pop that onto my Google site. Okay, and the good thing about it, it puts it on there in preview mode as well. So I don't have to do that preview bit. Remember I did at the beginning? And also what's nice about it is that I can drag it out, okay, to fit the page. Now don't notice it's saying slide 1 here, and I've got 2 other slides on there. Well, I wouldn't have that. The only reason that's like that is, remember, I was demonstrating on the same slide deck. So I would delete everything off of the other slide deck, so I've only got the 1 slide on it, because we don't want students going on to a different slide. This is what we're working on, okay? So that can be easily sorted. And then the last thing I want to do is to put my form, which is my finished puzzles, on there. So again, if I double click, I can go to my drive again. Go to my drive again. Okay, oh, it's in the footer, that's why. Let's double click here and go to drive. Okay, having a little bit of a glitch there. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Can rearrange it again afterwards. Okay, don't know why that's doing that. Let's do it the other way. Okay, it's decided it's not having that, so that's okay. We can carry on here. So what I'll show you over here then is, because it was already open, that's why I wasn't thinking. We can do it this way. Actually, it's good to show you both ways, because I showed you from the wheel, but actually you can go to insert here. And if you look down, you'll see you've got lots of things you can insert. So you've got all sorts of things that you can go straight to YouTube, calendars, maps. But what I want to be able to do here is go to my forms, and I can go straight to all my Google Forms from here. Okay. And when you do that, you'll see here's my puzzles test. I can simply just double click it again and it'll put it in quite small, but I can resize it. Okay, so if I want to make that fit exactly, oh, it's not done bad actually. So you can see what it looks like here. I just might want it a little tiny bit further down so that next button is really visible. And I might just have it there. Might just take it up a little bit again just to get rid of the never submit passwords. I don't need that for the moment. I don't really need that, to be honest, at the minute. Just have it on the next button. Okay, so that's my site put together. And the great thing about Google Sites, and I love this, is that you can see how it resizes to fit different devices. So if I want to see what that looks like, I can click on the preview. And in my preview, this is what it will look like. If you look here, there's 3 different sizes. This is what it looks like on a large screen, what it looks like on a laptop or a desktop. And I hope you agree that actually that looks pretty nice. It's got some nice pictures on it. You can see the form actually works where it is. I don't have to do anything with it. It looks pretty good. You'll notice that I've got the clickable links. So as I roll over it, you can see that they become hyperlinks. So that's working. Yeah, that looks good. If I want to see what it looks like on a tablet, I can see that view as well. And actually it still looks good. And if I want to see what it looks like on a phone, it actually looks pretty good. It's resized it so that things are fitting really nicely, and that still works. All of that still works. So I think that's absolutely brilliant. So if I come out by clicking the X, I'm now, that's okay, it's not letting me save that, but that's fine. It's still all saved. It's just because I haven't finished filling the form in. But you can see we've actually put our website together. And the last thing I'd need to do then would be to publish that website. Okay, so to publish a website, nice and straightforward, you put the web address in. So it's really putting something like that you've typed the name, so Fairy Tale Puzzles without the spaces, and it becomes a whole web address, sites.google.com. Yeah, there we go. And who can view my site? I can manage that one. At the moment, it says anyone, but I can actually change that to make it so that people can only see it within my domain and things like that. So it's really worth having a look at that and seeing the changing of the settings. But really, no one's going to find it unless you give them the link anyway. So you can change it and lock it down to your individuals in your class, or you could make it viewable to anyone. There's no sensitive information going in there. Just that if you're pushing out forms, then you might not want other people to fill it in. And the last thing you do would be to publish it. Okay, I'm not going to do that for this one for now, but click on the publish button. So we've gone through that whole thing and we've got to the end of it. And all we would then need to do is wait for those answers to come in from the students and see students with their smiley faces because they've actually got those certificates being sent to them. Remember, I said, if you've not already got it, have a look for the add-on, which is called Certify 'em. That's an add-on, and that will be able to send out certificates. It's really easy to use. Just make sure you check with your organization. You're allowed to add add-ons. Make sure you always read what it's asking you to give access to when you do it before you download anything. Okay, so I use that and I know it's okay and it's safe, but you must make that decision and make that choice yourself, and also check everything. Always read everything before you use add-ons. Okay, so I'm just going to come back and check for a second the questions again. How to create a site with more than one page? Yeah, of course, Andrew. Let's go back into that. So you'll be glad to see it's really simple to do. There's the first page we've created. Okay, all we do is go to the Pages tab over here. We're on Insert. We just click on Pages, and then there's a plus. Okay, so if I wanted more puzzles to add, I can do Puzzle 2, and that's a new page. And again, I can make Puzzle 3. So you can see how I can just build onto this. Ooh, keep typing puzzles instead of the number. And what you'll see is that it also builds up the navigation for you nicely as well. So this is the home page with Puzzle 1 on it. You can go to Puzzle 2 and you can just simply use the wheel or anything to add your images and stuff from your Drive again. So lovely and simple to use. Google Sites are well worth investing some time to use, especially while we're remote learning. There's so much you can do with it. I'm going to stop there just for a second. I'm just going to come back and have a look at a couple of things that I want to push out to you, if that's okay. I just want to, before you go back to my slide deck that I started on. Which is this one. Oh, no, it's not this one. Where's it gone? Yeah, this one. So I'm just going to come back to this one just for a second and just check that we've covered everything we said we're going to do. I said that we're not going to talk about writing good puzzles or things, but I've given you some ideas of places to go and look. We looked at adding hyperlinks and previewing and fixing backgrounds and adding images. In forms, we added some sections, some questions, and we did the data validation to lock the puzzles. And then on sites, we created a single page website. We added a slide deck and we added a form. So we've gone through that whole process. Obviously, it's hard to take everything in a quick session like this, but you've got the video to go back. Use the same link that you came to today if you want to watch parts of it back. And also don't forget, use the form to ask some questions if you want to. But what I would ask you to do, if you don't mind, I'm just going to pop this in the chat. Before you leave, I would be very, very grateful if you would leave some feedback for the session in the chat, because that is so important to the trainers. All of us, we try to make these sessions as good as we can, but we can only do that if we get feedback from people. So please leave some feedback if you can. We'll be very, very grateful. It's bit.ly/feedback 2021 NI for Northern Ireland. And we hope that you can come back and see it again. I'm just going to put something else up as well. So I'm going to push this up as well. To book events, you can go back to the bit.ly here, GF UK events. There's loads of these sessions being run at the moment, and there are sessions on every week all for the UK. So you've got things running in Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and the England as well. You're welcome to join any of them, although there's ones particularly for Northern Ireland. They are repeated for the other ones as well. So please, please, please come along and have a look at what else we've got. And please let me know what you think in the messages now. I'm just having to check. You're thinking of your sixth form for this. Absolutely. These would be great. And you know what? You could actually get your older students to make these for each other as well. So, they could actually have some fun building these as well, not just do that. Would be brilliant for any group, which is fantastic. I just have a detectives unit. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, detectives unit will be absolutely perfect for this. You can do all sorts of things without leaving clues everywhere. I think that would be brilliant. And do you know what? If you do follow me on Twitter at Wendy Pesquet, if you do something with it, please tweet out and let me know, because I do love to get feedback from people. I love to see what you do from these sessions. It's so easy for a trainer to just walk off and never know what actually they've managed to help inspire in a teacher. And that's what we really feed off of, just like you do with your students. So please get in touch. I'm going to hang around for a little bit. I'm just going to leave the feedback up here now, and I will just close this broadcast down in a couple of minutes. But please keep any comments coming, keep adding any questions, and I'll try to answer them when I can. But I'll thank you again for coming. It's been a great session. I've loved doing this one. It's the first time I've delivered this session, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm just hoping that I'll see you at a couple more sessions. So take care, everyone. Keep safe. And thank you for being brilliant teachers. And thank you for taking time to come and watch this session today. See you soon.